to compete. I'm sick of these kids.
But we don't do a good job nowadays of using our resources. We have Ed Reed. We have Philip Buchanan.
Not the best college players of all time. The Mount Everest of Mount Everest. The University of Kent. Fucking best players that ever fucking played a game.
When you see that, get your little narrow ass up there and make the play.
But I know we had a bunch of bad coaching going on.
All them ones that still got their mama titties in their mouth, go back home because this is the greatest football team ever assembled.
Don't tell me about never took no program down because ain't no one person took this program down.
Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Beyond the U305. We are in conjunction with the Nevin Shapiro Fan Club and, of course, Beyond the Narrative. Today, we have some heavy hitters, no pun intended. We're here with Bennie Blades, Tolbert Bain, and, of course, our co-host, Nevin Shapiro. And as we start every show, let's get into the action. Can you tell us how you got introduced to the University of Miami and how it all started for you guys? We'll start with you, Bennie.
For me, it was an interesting dig. 1984. Tolbert and those guys had just come off the national championship. I wanted to go to Michigan. Then I went and watched that 83 team. I used to go down to every practice, and because my brother was on the team. I was like, man, I don't want to go there. I'm so sick of watching him. Because everybody said the only reason I was going to go to Miami because of Brian. So, of course, I wanted to make my own name. So, fast forward, track meet, state track meet.
Regional. It was regionals first.
Yeah, the regionals down in Miami-Dade. Trash Power. Now, all those guys come to the track meet. We're going to kick your butt. But they use the A word. If you don't come to Miami, I said, man, I ain't worried about that, man. I have been getting my butt whooped all year in the 400 meters. Now, I'm 220 pounds. I shouldn't be running the 400 meters. But I've been getting my butt kicked all year by the state trooper. That's what he called himself. Looking at all those guys, I said, man, I can't let these guys down. They coming to watch me. Who am I? My brother said, I tell you what, you better not let them down. I'm in lane 8. So if anybody know about track, you in lane 8, you the rabbit. Everybody got to catch the rabbit. So fast forward, I win the regionals. I win the state the next week. Brian said, you going to Miami? I said, man, I guess I better go to Miami because I can't let Tolbert, Alonzo, Winston Moss, Melvin Brad, I can't let those guys down because if I let them down, I wasn't finna have them kick my ass every day they see me. I live in South Florida. Even though I go to Michigan, I still got to come home. They're going to be kicking my ass. No, man, I can't do that. So I ended up going to Miami, and it worked out well for me. Worked out well.
I would say so. How about you, Tolbert?
I got to Miami because me and Melvin was best friends. I played wide receiver at Northwestern. At that time, we were running the wishbone offense, so I was the best blocking receiver in the nation. I had no catches. Played a little bit both ways, and if you played both ways at Northwestern back then, that was saying something because we had so many athletes to where we didn't have to use guys both ways. But I made one play, played against Columbus. John Adams was the best receiver in the county at the time. And I made a hit on him on a punt return. He fumbled the ball. We get the ball, scored a winning touchdown. And I had no catches. I thought I was James Lofton at the time. He played for the Green Bay Packers. I was 6'2", fast, track runner and all that nonsense. They told me we're going to give you a scholarship, but you're going to play corner. I just wanted to go to school because I was going to have to go to either Alabama or Tennessee in track. So, Melvin, and the last part of it was I was being recruited by Colorado, me and Tommy Streeter, Melvin Brad and Tommy Streeter, same high school team. And I wanted to leave home. I want to go away for school. So Melvin asked me one thing: is it a full scholarship? So I said, well, Coach Dickerson gonna call me tonight. He said, ask his ass if it's a full scholarship. So Coach say, no, it ain't a full scholarship. So I said, all right, Coach, no problem. So I got to hang the phone up and call him. Got to call Mel B. He said, I told your ass, you better take this scholarship to Miami. I said, all right, man, I'm going to Miami. That's how I went there. Other than that, I done went to Colorado with Streeter.
Wow.
Didn't know no better, but God had his hands on the situation.
There you go.
Went to Miami.
So you guys both got there in 1984.
No, I was with the 83 team,
You were
red
83?
shirt. He was the year following.
Okay. Were you guys ever so you were recruited by Howard Schnellenberger?
Yes. But I know Bennie and Brian, we competed against each other when we were little running track. They ran for Fort Lauderdale Track Club. I ran for Northwest Express. And Melvin and myself, so we know each other since we were little. So it was a welcome sight that all of us ended up on the same college team.
Were you ever recruited by Howard?
Howard Schnellenberger, well, he recruited the family.
Okay.
Okay? Because when he came in 83, the recruit Brian, because Brian was the athlete of the family. You know, I give all props to him. He's the one that got me to where I am even right now. And so by him being an athlete, Howard came to recruit him, and he would look at me. I'd be outside playing in the backyard by myself because I was just a loner kind of kid. And so when he came back the next year, I was like, like I said, I was in love with Bo Schembechler. I'm like, man, Howard Schnellenberger, it's all good, but, I want to go to the Big Ten. I want to see some snow. But the worst thing they could have did is bring a kid from South Florida to Michigan in the middle of January. No, sir. I'm taking my ass to Coral Gables. No, sir. Couldn't do it.
So what was it like being coached under Jimmy Johnson, and can you give us your favorite Jimmy Johnson story?
Ooh, I'm gonna go before Tolbert because look.
Okay. All right.
When Jimmy came in, you got to remember now, Jimmy came in and none of the coaches were his coaches. He came in as the head guy, but all the assistant coaches weren't his coaches. He had to pick and choose which coaches he was going to keep after that 84 season. And so I had a couple of defensive coaches that just hated me because I weren't their guy. And so when Jimmy Johnson came in that first meeting, he said, look to your left and look to your right, and I promise you, one of you won't be here at the end of the year. And I'm looking like, shit, I ain't supposed to be here anyway. Man. Coaches don't like me. He just said that, man, and I just had a son. I couldn't go back home because I don't know about anybody else's household. My daddy brought me and my brother bags to the dorm room. Can't come back home. So what I'm gonna do? I got a job. My bags already packed. 2 coaches don't like me. I got to make this work. So that's why I'm glad I hooked up with guys like Tolbert Bain because they made me look good.
What about you, Bain?
Jimmy's story. Well, Jimmy took over after the national championship year. So that summer, he didn't get spring with us. We was going to deal with him during the summer fall camp. So when he comes in, I wasn't in summer school because back then they really didn't let you go to summer school unless you had to be in summer school. So, Liberty City, knew how to maneuver a little bit. Finessed me a room. I got me an apartment on campus during the summer. Me, just being mischievous, 18, 19-year-old having fun, shooting skyrockets in the dorms, lay it on the ground, light it, and watch it fly to the other end, explode. So before Coach Johnson actually laid eyes on me, my name done come across his desk like 2 or 3 times. So I know he had to be saying to himself, this mother better be able to play some football. So now that, and then when Howard was on the way out, Alonzo and myself went to the Howard's going away thing at Monty Trainer. So that's the first time I actually laid eyes on Coach Johnson. He laid eyes on me. We sitting up in Howard, so he looking at me like, you in here. So now I'm like, better tie the motherfuckers up tight, because boy, Coach waiting to see if you could play. I don't know what's going to happen, but fortunate enough, was able to, every year though, I had a task on holding on to my job. Coach always felt like he wanted to put somebody in front of me, but I never would fold. From Liberty City, like Bennie said, I can't go home. Mm-hmm. The neighborhood, my homeboys, they never, the first year I was a starter, they only talked to me about bad plays. They would say on 3rd and 8, you let the man get the first down. You missed the tackle on 2nd and 5. I'm like, but what about? They say, no, you're supposed to do that. So coming out of Liberty City, I was my harshest critic. My roommates, Melvin Bratton, Winston Moss, Alonzo Highsmith, we critiqued each other hard. And in the secondary, I played in with Bennie, Darrell, Selwyn, Kenny, Bubba, Bobby Harden. We had, we were tough on each other. So coaches didn't, we held each other accountable. So that was the beautiful thing about playing back then.
Yeah. And this next question is going to be for all three of you. I'm going to let Nevin go first. What was the most favorite game that you ever witnessed of their era at the U?
I mean, that's a really open-ended question, man.
Yeah.
Because, for a lot of these newer generation Miami fans, if you hadn't been in the Orange Bowl, which, by the way, was the biggest shithole of all time, but it was our shithole. And, man, that place was the Four Seasons to us. Any native Miami person that really, really loved it. When you talk about the greatest games, it's really hard to isolate one. But during their era, I'd say there was probably the miracle in Miami when we beat Nebraska the first time was just an absolutely epic moment. We were like the underdog that everyone cheered for. When their era came around, towards the end of their era, we were the most hated team in any sport. Collegiate, professional. You loved us or you hated us. There was no separation. You were like, Miami's okay. No, I love those. I hate them. So when you ask about the game, that Miami-Nebraska game was special because we just knew there was something special in the air. As a fan, we didn't expect to be there. Florida kicked our ass the first game of the season, 28-3. Bernie Kosar looked average. And next thing you know, we're playing for a national title. It was epic. As far as the greatest thrill, I always liked the night games because it was a different beast inside that place. Wild. Fucking wild. And I'd say one game during the day, that 86 day game against Oklahoma when they came talking all that yin-yang, Brian Bosworth and this and that, we knew we were going to put it on them. We knew it, man. That's why Mike Irvin was high-fiving the whole West end zone, going bazooka. I'd have to say that game stood out. That opening game against Florida State, we tapped that ass 31-0. I mean, I can't, man. I'm gonna let them answer. I don't know, man. We were that place was crunk, man.
Best favorite game that you played as a player?
It got to be the Florida game when I helped cover the spread and got on the map. Are you kidding?
That game was in Tampa, by the way.
You know what I mean?
That game was in Tampa, by the way.
No, I like Nevin said, that Nebraska game, I was telling everybody on the team leading up to it, we're gonna play Nebraska for the national championship. They're not paying me no attention. And everything fell in place that day. It was 2 games played earlier that people had to lose. And the 2 games that needed to lose, the people lost. So the stage was set.
Texas, Georgia.
And then you got to remember that Big 8 at the time never faced a passing attack like Miami. Even though now Mike Rozier. We was talking before the game. He ain't that good. He ain't that good. Shh, he had almost 200 yards at halftime. That line was huge they had. And it was actually a miracle for real that we were able to beat them. Because at that time, they was considered the greatest college team ever assembled. But Howard, the defense, Coach Oliver Dade, Coach Stevens with the offensive coordinator, they had great game plans. And we had people that refused to lose. That's what Miami was built on. We had warriors that was they were gonna lead. You had to fuck them up, and we wasn't gonna. No matter who we played, we was coming to get some, and that it just ain't no program like that ever.
And so are their fans, meaning us. Yo, we had fucking business in that stadium. What? And that West Enzo was, man, I was in prison. It didn't handle that West Enzo, man. For real. Oh, my.
Look, there's a lot of games that we could look at the highlights and say those were great games. But for me, one game stands out of my whole 4 years at Miami. Yeah, my freshman year was just running down on kickoffs, just enjoying the vibe of just being on the team. 1985, I'm going to see if Tolbert remember this. We went to South Carolina. When we talking about two of the biggest freaking receivers I've seen, and they wasn't going to back down. Here we are. They
ran through jams.
We were young, a young secondary. We had to grow up that day. I'm talking about Sterling Sharp and Ryan Bethea. See, everybody know Sterling Sharp. See, Ryan Bethea played in the NFL also. 6'3", 230 pounds, and he running straight through you. He ain't trying to run around with you. See, like if Mike Tyson punched you in the jaw and he just look at you, it wasn't no back down in his eyes. I'll be back the next play. And that's how that made us, as a secondary, understand for the next 3 years, we got to get it together.
Don't forget Danny Smith.
Yeah. Look, because let me tell you something. Because I ain't gonna lie, and he'll tell you, a lot of times I just put my mouthpiece in my mouth and just look at him. Man, he came to the hall and say, man, shit, you better tackle that big motherfucker. What you doing out there, man? And he just looked at me and laughed, man, look. Because we didn't really know each other because it was third game playing with one another. And so myself, Selwyn Brown, Donnie Ellis, and Tolbert Bain. And then you had Darryl Fullerton coming in at nickel. Man, when I tell you, physically, we were beat up. No, more so that game because we didn't know each other. And then there's another game. We played Craig Ironhead Hayward. See, you too young to know these names.
And I remember that game.
Okay? Now, his son plays for Pittsburgh now. Imagine his son, okay? Cam, I think, is 300 pounds. His daddy was 270 pounds, maybe only about 5'8", straight bowling ball. And when he hits you here and lift you up, hold on, man. God
So you talking about when he got
I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna say that to my homeboy. I wasn't gonna say that to my homeboy. But listen,
I remember.
boy, look here.
He put almost 250 on us. I remember.
Listen,
On the ground.
we as a secondary,
Yeah.
we came in the next day, all of us had on neck rolls.
messing with Jerome. Them. They was mad.
'Cause
Jerome Seeley.
People talk about keeping each other accountable. Accountability, if your ass wasn't going to suit up and line up and do what you're supposed to do, oh no, get off the field. Get off the field. We call timeout. He got to go. I don't care what the coach say. He got to go because he's not being accountable. All 11, when you walked in the huddle, if he went looking all crazy, man, get his ass up out of here. He got to go because I got to be able to count on you. Because if Bennie Blaze wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, you better believe. Because even after the 2 All-American shows, they told me one day, man, what the fuck wrong with you? Just like that. I said, what? Man, you playing like a straight pussy today. Here I am, I'm thinking I'm doing it. And that's what I loved about those guys. They kept us accountable. No matter if we playing Oklahoma for the national championship, we playing Florida State, it didn't matter. All those games, we could go back and we can say, when Bubba McDowell knocked the ball down to beat Florida State in Doak Campbell Stadium, okay? We don't win that game, we don't win the national championship. A lot of games we can go back through the memory banks and you can remember those games. But for me, it started in 1985 when we had to hold each other accountable against that South Carolina team. That started that whole breed of what you here for. That's what it was about for me, what you here for.
They had a grown man team also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Harold Green was the
Yo,
running back.
man.
I remember him
He
too.
was a big old
Number
back.
28.
He was fast.
Yes, sir.
Strong.
Yeah.
Todd Ellis, quarterback. They were nice.
Yeah.
They pushed us too.
Oh, yeah.
They pushed us, man. That was a really that was an underrated, tough team, man.
And we talk about on that team, maybe 20 of those guys went to the National Football League on that South Carolina team.
Yeah.
They were tough.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, this
And then
next.
Ben, you had 2 interceptions that night,
Yeah.
too, right? We were battling on who was going to lead the team in interceptions. He had 2 that night. I had 2. And on my second one, I picked the ball off. So, you know, you play around and practicing, we laterally the ball each other. So I get I'm running with it. I'm acting like I'm a lateral, and the guy, so they tackle me. And guess who was waiting on me on the sideline?
Jimmy Johnson.
So I seen him. So I'm trying to duck him and go that way. Coach say, bring your ass here.
Rabbit got the gun.
Yeah, he said,
Yeah.
you bet not loud on my goddamn football talk. Yeah, coach. All right, you know he just thought.
Yeah.
Tapped him and I went on by my business. Damn.
That was really a different era, man. Like the University of Miami. I know I'm jumping ahead of your question, but like really, that's really where the U was built. Mm-hmm. Like that '83 team opened the door, and yeah, they were incredible, man. Did they deserve praise beyond praise? Right? They did something that nobody saw coming. Nobody. But when you talk about the fabric that was really developed, and like, you know, I there was a close proximity in age between me and like those guys from the 2001, from that era, and they were like sort of little brothers to me to a degree, I would say, because there was only about an 8-9 year difference from some of those guys. But these guys were Miami legends, man. Like if you really about that it's these guys that you idolize these dudes. Like you idolize them. And that was the era where the U was built. Those are the bricks right there. Now there were some great players in the earlier days, the Ted Hendrickses of the world, the Chuck Formans, the Jim Ottos, even before that. Mm-hmm. But these guys right here were part of that fabric that built what we became as an arrogant, shit-talking community of like, it's us. You're with us or you're getting run over by us. And that's where it really began. Mm-hmm. That's where it truly began. It's a Canes thing you wouldn't understand. That's what it was. And that's the truth. That's coming from a diehard who's seen it all.
So we're here talking about toughness. What I want to know is, what was your best hit ever at Miami?
Actually, it was in practice.
Okay. Hey, this is
Guess who the hit was on?
My own brother.
Yeah.
oh All right, walk. I would love to hear.
I'm gonna walk you through it because
All
look,
right, let's hear it. I want to hear it.
on Saturdays, Jimmy had this thing to where, okay, look, first offense versus first defense. Not a problem. My mom, she would always sit right there on that third row in the bleachers. So I'm looking at her, and before practice even started, she say, "Don't hit my baby." I'm looking at her, I'm your baby too. Don't send his ass out here because I'm the old gonna hit him. Now, I don't know what happened, but they made our secondary mad. He ran that slant route, and I tore his ass up, knocked him slap out. Mama looked at me, I said, "Get his ass up out here then." And I meant that, and that's my mama.
She jumped about her seat.
Because the thing is, I don't care who you are. Even right now when I'm playing checkers with my grandchildren, I ain't letting you win. I don't give a frick who you are. You can't win. You step on the field, okay, I'm going to bowl you in the mouth too. It's how it is. You're not a real competitor if you want to let somebody else win, right? Because he'll tell you, even in the weight room, me and my brother, even right now to this day, I love him. Ain't nobody going to push him around because that's my brother. But we competed at all costs. One day we was just playing pickup basketball. Okay? Nah. He got mad because I was bodying him around. He went in the weight room and made the weight and chucked it at me. If I want to move, it'll slap me right in the head. That's how, look, it didn't matter because competition doesn't just start on the football field. See, that's what people think. It starts, no. If you're a competitor, you're a competitor in life. Don't sit there and tell me, what? Man, I wish I could play in today's era. They'll be finding the shit out of me. Oh, he can't play no more. Get his ass up out of here then. Bring another one. It is what it is. How do you play a gladiator sport, but you can't be a gladiator? Maybe you understand that.
There's nothing to say.
See, we're driving over here, right? And you asked me, so I'll put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
I'll put you on the spot. He asked me, would you put Bennie Blades as one of the top 5 Canes of all time? And I said, man, that's such a hard question to ask of any guy that's come through the U, right? And I said, there's so many great players that have come through here, but this dude's definitely on the Mount Everest of fucking nasty as it relates to this program. Like, he's Sean Taylor, God rest his soul, and Ed Reed before those guys. Stone cold killer. Tolbert was a great player too, man. 4 years, and I know you're going to share that stat about the only one to start 4 years. Like, incredible stat. So I'm not, no way. But you talk about, like, that dude, like, yo, this is a real legend, man. This is a fucking real legend. You don't meet legends, living legends, as this program, right there. I want
to tell you why I appreciate that, Devin. But before I even thought about going to Miami, even when I said, okay, I'm going to go down there, I'm going to compete with these guys because we had competed against each other so much growing up. That's why I said I'm going to go just to be a part of that. But you have to do your research. And so when I said, well, I'm going to go down there, most people didn't know I was a running back. So when you go there, when I went down there and you're in that running back room.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, yeah. That running back room was crowded, bro. You had Melvin, Warren Williams, J.C. Penney, Steve Staffier, Alonzo Highsmith. I mean, dude, when they say, okay, we're going to make you a corner, I'm going to the corner. and I didn't have no problem because, like I said, competition, a lot of guys shy away from it. I ain't scared of nobody.
Yeah.
But I said to say, but before there was a Bennie Blades, there was a Fred Marion. See, people forget about Fred. Fred Marion.
New England Patriots.
Oh, man. Okay?
All-American.
And so when I finally met Sean Taylor's dad, and I met Sean, he said, you know what this is? You know, Sean being Sean, he was a freshman at the time. He said, I'm going to tell you, watch and understand who this guy is. If you want to be great at Miami, just watch and see what he's done at Miami. Sean left there, and he exceeded all of our expectations. Okay? I take nothing away from somebody who's studied the past, and that's their ambition is to be better than the past. I look at these kids nowadays, and I say, man, you guys are making $100,000, some of them $4-5 million, and they're straight pussies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to say it that
What do
way.
you mean?
Because that's what they are.
We ain't ducking.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Look,
we ain't ducking rap.
I'm sorry.
No, spit.
I go down to a lot of the practice, and I go, they paying him to do what? Listen,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
Different game, different era.
Yeah, man.
And that's why when they talk to guys like myself, they look at me like I'm crazy, man. Dude, we ain't supposed to. Since when you got friends in practice? Slap the dog shit out of them and tell the coach bring another one in.
Well, you were crazy in those days, so you can only imagine how you look in today's world.
And that's why they ain't shit.
Right.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it real. That way, listen. In order to be great, think about all the great people who's played every sport there is.
Yeah.
As great as Michael Jordan was, he wasn't gonna let you beat him in basketball, not even in practice.
Not friendly.
Not anybody.
Never friendly.
Okay? As great as Tiger Woods was, he wasn't gonna let nobody. If you beat him that tournament, he gonna go the next morning, wake up, and hit 1,000 golf balls because he let you win.
Because when you think you got over
okay.
on them, you think you can keep getting over on them.
And that's the problem. We've put you and Luther Campbell were before your time. I'm gonna just put it that way. Because back in our day, you couldn't get no money if you ain't did shit. I'm gonna give you some money, you ain't did nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, I had a son to feed. So therefore, I'm gonna give you them 16 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 2 calls fumbles, because why? I need that $200. If you gonna give me $8 million and I ain't gotta do nothing, pat my pocket, baby. I'm gonna look good. I look good, 2 chains, and you ain't did nothing. Really? Mm-hmm. Where that come from? This is why I tell. See, I go back to the youth league. I tell them, I'm gonna take your titty out that boy's mouth. Let him grow up. Mm-hmm. Let him grow up. Because if Johnny done slapped him in his mouth and he coming over there crying to you, oh, baby, really? He gonna keep crying to you the rest of his life. And Johnny gonna steadily be slapping him in his mouth. We have to stop that. When are we gonna get back to where football is football?
Yeah. I think that horse left the barn. And
It ain't left the barn. You look. There's a whole bunch of horses in the stable. Now, do you want a mare or do you want a Clydesdale? Which one you want? A whole bunch of them. And it all depends on what you're willing to pay for. And that's what these kids understand now. Everything is pay for play.
it's crazy.
Now they want to pay
It's crazy.
before they play.
It's so it's so fucking ass backwards, man. It just is, man.
And
With that being said, it's just like the pros. I pay Bennie $10 million, but Bennie ain't performing. Nevin's performing, but I still can't play Nevin. 'Cause I'm paying $10 million to Bennie.
there you go.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So it don't matter how good Nevin is. Nevin is the better player. But I got to play Bennie because I got to get my money out.
Yeah.
Because everything is about that box office draw.
System is fucked
No question, man.
We just saw that with the current University of Miami offense. They weren't playing the guys behind them for that reason, because they were paying the guys. They were paying the receivers up front. All those receivers were paid, so they didn't give the guys enough reps behind them because they were paying too much for the
Okay.
guys.
This is why I truly, I look at some of the kids, you know what I mean? And when they see me or they see him, all they see is old people. You know what I'm saying? And I say, just sit down and talk to me for a minute. They don't want to do that. This is why a lot of stuff go on. And that's why they say, well, Bennie, you going on the sideline? No, because you ain't gonna let me say nothing to them. Because there's no way I can sit there and watch a kid get beat on the same play and
So
don't
you
say
talking about Syracuse game.
and don't say nothing?
But the bad part about it is you have those iPads now. The coach was supposed to get the iPad and show the kid he's doing nothing. You was losing your patience. He's setting you up to get back inside of you. Stay inside. You got to be patient. He ain't running numbers some rinky-dink ass routes. Yes. The kid, it was a baby. And I love him. He just has to learn patience. But we don't do a good job nowadays of using our resources. We have Ed Reed. We have Philip Buchanan.
Tolbert.
We have all those guys that would love to take a few minutes to explain to them kids what they're trying to do to them. But like you just said, Bennie, they truly don't want you talking to them kids. Why? I don't know. I'm going to give y'all this story. We playing Oklahoma. The first series of the game, you remember this? When they ran option my way. I wasn't there. They split Keith Jackson out wide, and I'm off in 5 yards. When he come out, I can't get around him. Keith Jackson, 245, 50 pounds. We get off. I get in the huddle, and everybody in the huddle fucking looking at me like, motherfucker, where you at? Nobody said nothing. They all 10 looking. I say, my bad. Then Bennie and George called the play. We get off the field, and I'm sitting there like, holy shit, what I'm going to do tonight? Because this shit going to be rough if they keep doing that. Winston Moss, playing on Sundays, my former roommate, walks up to me, bends down, and tells me, he said, you can't play him like that tonight. He too big, you ain't going to never be able to get off him. He said, walk up on him, and when that ball, you see that fucking ball coming, you play football. And he walked out, nod my head, he walked off. They ran that option that way again, boom, tackled him in that backfield for a loss. They ain't bothered me the rest of the day. But now had Winston not been on that sideline, my coach is up there, but I don't think he saw what was going on. But Winston saw it, played the game, understand the game. He said he's too big. Walk up on him now. That didn't come from no coach. I also watched, and I know all y'all remember the catch Lamar made on Florida State, the enclosed end zone. I watched Lamar for three and 3/4 of the game, couldn't get off the line against Clifton Abraham.
Yep.
He walks over to the Ed Brown and Nat Moore. He drops his helmet. He say, I can't get off the line. What the fuck to do? In 30 seconds, they showed him how to beat the kid for the winning touchdown. That didn't come from the receiver coach. But like you're saying, they don't want but certain people talking to the kid.
We coached ourselves, man.
That is not how it
was so
go.
noticeable, man. It was so noticeable. That was such a special ride. It was just it was Camelot, man. So like everyone's always talking about the U. Is the U back? Is the U back? Let me just tell you something. Whatever the U does going forward, and they should be in the playoffs every single year. There's too many resources. We're like the Saudis with oil. Yo, there's just too much fucking oil down here, man, to not be dominant every year, or at least be in the conversation every single year. But as far as being back to the U and being back to that program and what that was, that's like Camelot, man. That'll never happen again. That was a different time, a different place, a different era, different rules, different money, no money. It was just a different time. And that was just the most special. I'd say UCLA in basketball maybe was that type of run and era. That's the greatest fucking run of collegiate sports ever. Man, ever. And to give the proper respect, and I think these guys would probably both agree, Florida State was probably about 6 inches from being that great too. Mm-hmm. They just couldn't get past us, right? Here and there they would, but they were a play away. And I'll never forget someone who used to play for Florida State, Kirk Carruthers, we became really good friends with him after he left college. I never thought because he was living down in South Beach, and he said, "Man, fuck, we were right there with you guys. The only difference is we thought we were going to win. You guys knew you were going to win." He told me that, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And that was just we were just a different brand of fucking
It was
insanity, man.
It was 19-3.
Watch this.
19-3, man.
Going
Danny Stubbs makes that interception on his
You're
knees.
young.
19-3 going into the fourth quarter.
When they do this now, what does that mean?
Fourth quarter.
But what does that mean?
Ass whooping's about to come.
Nope.
That
we
mean
did that, and man, we win
If-
the fourth quarter.
every wind sprint you ran on Green Tree Field, every guy in that locker room you sacrificed for. I don't care if you down 20 points. You're going to find a way to win that game. That's what that 4 mean. Now they throwing it up like it's just a U on your hat. It's just there. It's the fourth quarter. Really? Do you really know what that means?
We started that.
You have to dig
Yeah.
down and find something.
Find something that's
That fourth quarter came from when I was on that freshman team. That's where that 4 came from. The year before, they lost 4 games. They were 7-4. And they lost all 4 games in the fourth quarter. And Howard vowed that would never happen again. Therefore, we had 3 practices when I first got there. We were walking zombies after 3 days because we was ready. Everybody was about ready to quit because he said we would never lose a game in the fourth quarter because we wasn't in condition. That's where that 4 come from. Most people don't know that.
That's a fact, man.
That's where that.
But it's
that's
like we
where
were
that
just
come
talking about, because their pockets are lined with all this money now.
They don't care where the 4 came
That's the point.
and that's where you get to who are you playing for?
Yep. There's no more passion.
Who
We played for each other.
right?
We refused to let the other guy down.
When you looked at our roster back in those days, 92% of that roster was from right here in South Florida. Yeah, you cherry picked from in different little states. But when you had guys that they couldn't go home, you didn't want to go back to the ghetto. For what?
What you going back to?
What you going back? Ain't nothing back there for me.
And it wasn't no Walmart,
You know-
then, so where you was gonna get a job?
Because if I wasn't playing for Tolbert, and Tolbert wasn't playing for Donnie, and Donnie wasn't playing for Selwyn, dude, we all we had. So therefore, if you don't play as one, you lose. That's why I like when the old ladies say, when you ball that fist up, it strikes a mighty blow, don't it? Because now you got all players one. But if I just slap you with that limp wrist,
We were a different breed, man. We really were. And people don't understand it. You know, the guys back in those days, you know, they didn't have it the way today's era has it. Like, they really had to get, if they didn't succeed, like, and I'll never forget, you know, a great story, man, Mel Bratton, you know, and he's done very well for himself. But, like, you know, there was no insurance policies and all that shit back then. Man, that guy lost his whole football career selling out for the program,
Yep.
selling out for the U. Mm-hmm. Man, that guy went down, man, I fucking started crying, man. That was Willis McGahee 20 years before Willis McGahee, man. Dude lost his whole fucking career, man. Luckily, he was, you know, he rebounded and did other great things in life, but dude lost his career, man, fucking balling for us. And those shit was heartbreaking, gut-wrenching. You don't remember. You weren't born.
I remember him
That's
breaking his
why
leg
when
down the
people
sidelines.
want to get mad,
Yeah, yeah.
Watch the film.
Yeah.
they question Cam.
Yeah.
What you mean you questioning Cam? Okay, so Cam go out to tear his leg up. For what? It's a bowl game. Nah, it's a difference. Cam would have been in the playoffs.
right.
He wouldn't have sat out no second half.
No.
But that's our fault. We didn't have the proper defense put together this year. I didn't want to hear nobody talk about no Cam. Cam, because what y'all gonna do, go on with y'all life, and he gonna go on with his life after he. So I'm not. I didn't have a problem with him not playing the second half.
Me neither. He did his thing, man.
He did.
He earned
got
his,
us off
he earned his NIL.
No doubt.
Every dime of it. He earned that.
He helped to make us relevant again.
That's a fact. Nothing but love.
So
for that
Lee
kid,
ain't
man.
nothing to lead that kid
Right.
alone.
Nothing but
You know?
love for
I
that kid.
appreciate what he did. I appreciate what he did.
Flowers.
So people, they don't understand. So when I go out there, the first practice, I want to see the new kid. So I'm watching him, and I had never seen this before, and Bennie played a little more than me. So I guarantee he never seen that. You know the net with the 3 squares in it? Quarterback net. I'm watching. I don't know why I'm watching, because I don't watch no fucking quarterbacks throw the ball into the net. I watched that kid throw every pass he attempted went into a square. Hold up. That's not normal. So the next time I go to practice, I see it again. He might even be moving or rolling, and all of the balls will go in the net. So I started telling people, I say, this kid's special. Man, I say, because I never seen that before. And then when he's doing 7-on-7 team, he always put the ball where it was catchable. I say he's the most accurate quarterback since Ken Dorsey. So people, man, you know what you're saying? Yeah, I know what I'm saying. He the most accurate quarterback since Ken Dorsey. So when the game start, they start saying, damn, you right. I said, I know what I'm looking at. You don't just throw that ball in that net. Them squares are not that big.
That's right.
When you know, you know.
You got accuracy. He's got accuracy, great accuracy. So when they start watching, like, damn, you was right. And Randy grew up with Randy. We went to the same elementary school. I talked to him after I see him the first practice. So he said, I said, Randy, boy, had y'all got this kid, y'all would have been all right again. He said, oh, they say he turned the ball over too much. I said, well, Norvell's supposed to be a good enough coach to where he wouldn't have all those turnovers. So I said, I tell you what, he's the most accurate quarterback since Ken Dorsey. Randy, I had to ask him, was he, hello? You still there? He said, yeah, I'm here. I said, okay then, well, if you know what I just said, you know I know what I'm talking. He said, damn. I said, you'll see. Watch how he play. That's what killed them more than anything. They had a bum quarterback. If you pick the wrong quarterback, y'all.
We could have been Florida State, not 2-10, but we could have been that team like that.
Yep.
In a split second, with the wrong with
DJ Uklevama.
Right. You know what I mean? Man, Cam Ward, man, he, everyone thinks, oh, you're on this anti-Mario shit. I'm like, man, Cam Ward, if this was the state of California and this was a divorce, man, Cam Ward gets half of Mario's salary, man. That dude balled the fuck out.
Yeah.
Say what you want, man. That guy pulled stuff out. He was rabbits
my
out of his
question
ass.
for you, did we get it right this year?
Oh man.
I don't want to answer the question because everyone's gonna be like, yo, this motherfucker's the devil.
He's
man.
the new narrator of the
Right?
show.
No, I'm not but
No, that's a
want
great-
somebody
it's a
to
great-
tell me
it's a great
something, 'cause
question.
I'm wondering.
I'm gonna put it this way.
You thinking too long?
No, because
What you gonna say?
I wouldn't go to a new car dealership and buy a broken down automobile. Now what they just told you. I ain't going to the BMW dealership buying a Toyota. Because everybody I talk to up in that Georgia area, I'm sure glad he gone. So why they saying that? Why they telling me that?
And I said the same
I
thing.
ain't, don't get me wrong, I'm a University of Miami fan. Don't know Mr. Beck if he walked through this door right now and sat down with him. Now, all I know, they gave you and your girlfriend a whole heap load of money.
Him
Whatever.
and who? Him and who?
His girlfriend.
So
See that thing right there?
what you
That what
telling
brought him
me-
here.
What you telling me is they didn't have to give him that much. He was coming because he chasing his hole. He chased.
So you're saying the 2 inches of real estate is why he's here?
And a whole lot of cash. Hell, I could come out of retirement for that much cash.
Like, hey, listen, like I said in one of our earlier podcasts,
I'm just saying.
I said in one of our earlier interviews, you know, Mike had asked me about Carson. I said, look, man, I don't know if his arm is fixed, not fixed, whatever, but that motherfucker better be throwing left-handed if he can throw come August 31st. Period. I don't give a fuck. $6 million? And he asked me if they're going to redshirt him. I go, redshirt him?
I'm gonna throw it back to Tolbert. Tolbert, my man, you give me $6 million, and my leg broken, and I can't run in there on that 4x4. Can you get your money back? Hell no, bitch, I done spent that. Gone. I ain't running on your 4x4 and you ain't getting that money back. What they gonna do?
Can't do nothing.
Can't do nothing. So,
Okay, but nah,
here's my
if
thing.
you was Emory, what do you do?
Listen, man, we can debate this all night long because the thing is, whether it's gonna be an unfair comparison to we got it right last year. Okay, we got it absolutely right last year. Okay.
He set the bar high.
So now when you give somebody else that same amount of money and they perform, let's say, half of what Mr. Ward did last year, is that good enough for the U?
Yeah, all I know.
I'm just telling you, it's not going to be good enough for the U.
All I know, I'm going to take it back 2 years ago. Star Emory, we hadn't beat Clemson in how many years? Do anybody know? Before Emory beat Clemson? How many years did
Last time we beat them, I'm going to say 2004, Kyle Wright in Clemson, we beat them.
That was it? Okay, so now I'm asking y'all, none of us coaches. He beats Clemson. The next week, the kids say he's ready to play. So do you play him the next week, or you leave the quarterback who just beat Clemson on the field and let him get 4 more quarters? Now you have 8 quarters going to the Florida State game, or you put him back on the bench and let the kid go in there that like he lost his mind and play. What do y'all do?
I play the one that beat Clemson.
I play. Who you play?
Yeah, I mean,
So now I don't think that was a good move. Then we end up having to put him in the game at Florida State, and he tried to bring us back to beat him till he broke his arm. And then now Cam comes in. He was supposed to get in the back seat, but did we give him an actual opportunity to be the next quarterback? Like I felt he deserved and earned. I don't know.
I think they put him in a horrible spot.
Yeah, the first series,
yeah.
all he did was hand the ball off.
He
he wasn't in no rhythm.
They didn't do him no favors for sure, man, with that game plan. And to even play a half, like you're cleaning up for someone else.
How much did he play in the regular season when we had fucking
nothing.
blowouts?
Nothing.
He still was watching the game.
This is where it goes back to the yesteryear. It's all about, for me, training the talent that you have. If you're in a blowout game, the records that we had back in those days could have been so far. That's why I tell people, records are meant to be broken. But if you're a head coach, and I know I got a young, hotshot freshman that I know in 2 years, he's going to be a dog for me. And now I'm up 41-0 at halftime. I let him play that next half. I got to see what I got for next year and 2 years down the road. I know what I got that just left the field. These guys are leaving me. Let me play and see what I got for the next couple of years. We haven't done that.
when we, I look back on your guys' era, and this was like a real testament to like, I guess our coaching staff, also how deep the talent was. Like, I look at two guys in particular, and this is probably way beyond most people's knowledge, because a lot of these current generation Canes fans probably don't even know these guys. But like a guy like Jimmy Jones, a guy like Bubba McDowell, man, these dudes they didn't even start, and they were second-round picks, man, in the NFL.
And played
Didn't
a
even play.
long time.
Alone.
Didn't even start, and were second-round picks. Does that give you an idea, like how deep those mobs were?
Mm-hmm.
Man, deep.
That.
You ask a Miami fan, who's Jimmy Jones? Man, I guarantee you, 99% of people don't even know.
Don't even know.
Swamp.
Do you know who Jimmy Jones is?
I don't.
Never heard of
See?
it. Never heard
Right.
of him. Swamp.
You know.
Yeah.
Right?
But
What we call him?
but
What we call him?
Swampy. Because
He's from the
I'm leading.
Yeah.
Okeechobee.
Yes, sir.
So let me go into this question for you guys. So Miami has been very mediocre over the last 20 years, especially with the foundation and standards that you guys both set. Does it bother you guys that it's been this long, and what do you think that needs to be fixed?
We got to develop the talent again.
But how much does it bother you that it's been this
How
long?
much it bother me? You don't sleep at night after we lose. You get to sleep. It's a restless night.
You know how hard it is. He'll tell you because I live now in Seminole territory. You know how hard that is? I wear my youth stuff proudly to the grocery stores in Seminole territory. I got into I ain't gonna say argument. I got into a small debate with an elderly lady. Okay? She said, son, why you wearing that around here? I said, ma'am, because this is the greatest football team ever assembled. She said, you guys suck. Nah, you can't go and beat up no old elderly lady. You know how hurtful that is for you to love something so much and for older people to tell you you suck. You guys will never win another national championship again. To say never, never, you don't even tell kids that's trying to ride a bicycle, you'll never get to ride that bicycle. You just say one day you'll get there. But people tell, until we start changing the culture of Miami again.
And what is that for you?
Player development. You could have the best coaches in the world, but you have to allow them to do what? To develop the talent. Because there's no way you could tell me. I see some of these kids that leave just in the last 5 years who have left the University of Miami. Mediocre players at best while they were here.
And then blown up.
And they get to the National Football League and they're Pro Bowlers, All Pro.
Cam Kitchens?
Where was this kid? But he was there. Until we get back to that model.
Is it possible to do that in today's landscape where a guy can just jump
Yes,
ship
it is.
every year?
Yes, it is. Because let me tell you something. If you have, I don't know about y'all, but I know how his daddy was.
Mm-hmm.
If it ain't your time to shit, get off the pot. Let somebody else shit. You know what I'm saying? And that phrase meaning, if you ain't doing your job, I need to put him in the game and see what he got. See, we're afraid now, well, he gonna get in the transfer portal, bitch, bye.
Bye.
Political. Yeah, man.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard. It's just
Coaches are afraid to say that. That's why I love, see, I wasn't a big Nick Saban fan, but Nick Saban will tell you quick, bye. Next man up, bye. How did he bench Jalen Hurts in the national championship game? Because why? You wasn't performing.
massive nuts, man. You gotta just be ready to make hard.
That's how it's supposed to be. I'm not giving you $6 million, bro. Give me the kid that made $300,000 and let him outperform you.
Now, do you play him in front of the guy, the one who made the 300, or are you gonna stick with the $6 million?
Look, man, I'm just an old school guy. I'm 300. Hey, look at man, he's playing. Cause why? He's performing.
We know Jimmy and
Hold up. In order for head coaches nowadays to keep them $20, $30 million contracts, they have to do what? Perform.
Yeah.
Performance is what? Winning. Now, if you got a contract where they say, okay, look, you getting $140 million for the next 3 years guaranteed, whether you win or lose, that coach don't give a damn about winning. He said, you just gave me 140 and I ain't got to do shit.
Okay.
Now he gonna keep the $6 million on the field. But if my job tied to you, bruh, I ain't finna lose my $20 million because you making 6 and you playing like crap. Hey, get off that field, man. Come on, man. I need to see what he can do. The game has changed from that aspect. Yeah, the salaries are going through the roof as coaches because it wasn't no guaranteed that Black Luke was going to give you $200 at the end of the game, was it? What was the guarantee? Shit, bitch, you better go. You better go and perform.
If we ain't win, you ain't get paid.
You know what I
we ain't
mean?
win now.
And that's the thing.
You ain't pick up no money and we ain't win.
Excuse me, I want to make a point. So, and I won't mention the player's name, but we got into this situation where we were winning, and then all of a sudden we stopped, and we got beat down by LSU 40-3 in the Peach Bowl.
They beat the
and one of the players says to me, "Nev, man, we going out?" And I said, "Man, you know what? Honestly, I'm not gonna pay for 43 beatdowns." I said, honestly, I'll see you guys like deep in the off season. Get your shit together, man. You don't reward beatdowns. You pay for wins.
Right.
You pay for hits. You pay for touchdowns. You pay for results. And, whether people think, oh, this shit went on, it didn't went on. Miss me with the bullshit, man. This is what it is.
I have a question for you, gentlemen. Do you think developing these cultures and these players, a lot of it's because these coaches are fearing for their jobs. They're fearing for their jobs year to year, and they're scared of letting go of their top players or getting on these players because of that.
It still goes back to what I said earlier. Competitiveness starts early in life. If you keep giving a kid who doesn't want to compete, I'm going to quit if I ain't starting. Bye, bitch, bye. Start that in youth league. Learn how to compete. I'm sick of these kids. Man, I'm a 5-star. Who told you were a 5-star? Because you damn sure getting your ass beat up by that 2-star.
Well, this is my question to that. What certifies these motherfuckers to give them these 5 stars? Who gives the 5 stars?
Because they mama couldn't afford to go to them camps, and that boy in Liberty City that's in the Pokemon projects, mama can't give him that money. So therefore, he's a 2-star. Give me that dog out of Liberty City.
He's hungry.
Okay? Now, he want to get his mama out them jacks.
But I'm going to ask you again, who are the people that giving the stars?
I don't know. You tell me who them people are. Because I ain't going to lie.
Anybody tell me who
I
the people are?
ain't going to lie. I show as Larry Blue. Hey, Blue Thing. You getting these people these stars, man, because I don't know who these people are.
It's a 247 Sports. It's all these publications on 3.
Who are these people?
Excuse me. Yeah. Have any of these people that started these publications, have they ever got into the arena to where it's just me and you?
Yeah, I don't think Zach Bolston or whatever his name is played college football.
But
Benny, the question that I have is about us not utilizing our alumni. We have probably the best alumni in all of collegiate sports, and I really feel that we do not utilize them to the best capacity. And I know that you have some personal stories about you being at Miami and not being able to put your input, even though you're seeing it from a defensive perspective. So would love share with our viewers.
I look at the games, whether it's on television or whether it's in person. Now, bar none around the National Football League, you see guys throw up that U and everybody around the world know what that U means. But you don't bring these guys back because you're afraid that one of them may ask for a job. You're afraid that one of them may give that kid a little bit more knowledge than you're going to give them. Here's the thing. When I look at, and I'm just going to use Louisville, you don't think Lamar Jackson can go back to Louisville and talk to every last one of those quarterbacks and give him the insight that he sees not only as a player, but there's nobody, in my opinion, in today's game who's playing the game better than him. We'll bring back the playmaker, the gift of gab. It's all good. But there's nobody, in my opinion, who's played the game better than Ray Lewis, but yet he can't come and talk to your linebackers and give them the insight, not only as a player, but during the game, that insight is invaluable. But I don't know about Tolbert, but here's what I get. Well, the NCAA only allows former players to be in the stands. But when I go, I hate to put it this way, but when I go to other stadiums and I look around, I say, I know damn well this guy ain't more famous at his school than I am at the University of Miami. How the hell is he on the sideline walking up and down, talking to the players, high-fiving the coaches? I ain't gonna kiss your backside to talk to no 18, 19-year-old kid.
Is that the excuse they're using at the University of Miami?
Well, I ain't gonna say that's the excuse they use. I'm just telling what they tell me.
I can tell you for a fact, I've been on the sideline at Notre Dame with my brother walking up and down the sideline.
And you see, I looked at him, right?
And I got the videos too.
I'm just gonna tell you what they tell me.
Yeah.
The NCAA, blame it on who you want to blame it on. I'm just telling you. Yeah. And so I look at him, I say, it's 16 names around the stadium. Oh, but if you come down, we'll have you a pass, but you could only stay in this little 4x4 box. What the hell am I gonna stay in a 4x4 box for? I ain't trying to be on the sideline to stay in a 4x4 box. I need to come and talk to you. Because, see, the last time I was on the sideline, way back when Miami played in Oklahoma, they invited me out there to talk to the team the night before the game. Now, I'm sitting there talking to Kenny Phillips. And when I tell you they were running down our throat, and I walked over to this young man and said, excuse me, you do realize they done ran the same play 8 times, and you ain't moving. No, the coach told me that. Man, listen, man, I'm telling you from somebody who's played this game, who's been in the trenches. I don't know about him, but I'm telling you, when you see that, get your little narrow ass up there and make the play. That boy came back on the sideline, he say, Mr. Blaze, I appreciate that, because they ain't seeing what you see. It's not my job to try. I ain't trying to take over nobody else's job. But if I can see something and I can tell that kid, this is what, 10 years in the bigs, this is what I see. Now, you could take it for what you want to take it as, but I'm telling you, when you come on the sideline again, you get your ass whooped, I'm going to look you right in your eye and say, see, this is why your ass ain't going to be playing on Sunday.
That's like,
Because you don't like to listen.
excuse me, that's like having Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, financial fucking gurus at your disposal as you're a financial analyst, and you say, no, I'm not going to listen to them. Man, you got the greatest fucking players of all. Listen to me. Not the best college players of all time. The Mount Everest of Mount Everest. The University of Canton.
Yeah.
Fucking best players to ever fucking play the game. You don't want these dudes around? Ed Reed?
Right.
Reggie Wayne? Ray Lewis? What the fuck are you smoking, man? Are you out of your motherfucking mind?
So how does Michael Irvin get on the sideline?
Well, he went around the powers to be. Julio Frank, believe it or not, I know they got mad with me when I went.
We heard he makes $1 million a year, Michael Irvin, to be on the sideline.
Yep, well, they cut a deal with him. You know, I don't know how much that amount is. It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Man, you got some good intel, man.
You know what I mean? But
Listen,
You must know someone, man.
maybe a guy or two.
he did have to go and talk to Julio Frank, and Mr. Julio okayed that whole deal.
Shit, Benny, I know you do that shit for half.
Hey, man.
Sure would.
Listen, man, you know what?
Sure would.
We're coming up-
And look, and give them the best insight they can ever find.
Hey, I think we're coming up with a new business plan, man. I think you guys, I'm going to start my own fucking alumni NIL program. What?
Nope.
Alumni NFL
We might have to
NIL
edit
program.
this. We might have to edit this out so nobody takes this idea.
The alumni
I might have
NIL
to
program.
take this out. That is a great idea, actually.
Man, listen, man, you got the greatest players of all time, man. This ain't no normal roster.
But why? Why
Like
don't
if-
they let you guys back?
Unless it's a special, in their mind, a special event where they can parade those guys, you know what I mean? Wave a few times to the fans. But my whole thing, it ain't about waving to the fans. It's about giving those young guys, when they got that deer in their headlight look, when whatever the coach ain't saying to them just ain't sinking in.
The wisdom, man.
You don't want to hear Andre Johnson
It's crazy.
in your ear telling you,
Well, look who they just lost. They just lost Ed Reed. He's coaching He's an offensive coordinator. He's a defensive guy in high school. We
First
just had
of all-
Alonzo Highsmith.
no, first of all, you lost Warren Sapp, who's arguably,
We just had a podcast on this.
who's, in my opinion, the second best defensive tackle in the University of Miami history, okay? Because I ain't gonna never put him up before Jerome Brown. I just won't do that, people that's listening. Now, because you tell them, if you can't give me 20 hours a day, hell, on your regular job, you don't do 20 hours a day. Name your coach.
20 hours a day? Man, that's a fucking labor law violation. Man,
I'm
that's jail time, man.
Right.
What?
And so that's why he said, according to him, that's why he said he went over to Dion. And Coach Prime say, I love to have. Who wouldn't love to have Warren Sapp? What? You don't think D. Lou, another Miami Hurricane, welcome him right on in. Come on. We got more ex-Hurricanes.
Not utilizing our resources.
Oh, man.
Clint Hurt wanted to come back here and be the defensive coordinator.
And what happened?
Just won the Super Bowl with Philly. D-line.
Go ahead, Benny.
You go upstairs and tell me what happened. Because now his eye going to be on what? Next, he going to want to be the head coach.
Yeah.
He's a threat.
Can't have no threats around here. You understand?
Sick.
So therefore, I mean, it is what it is. I understand everybody wants and loves job security, but you can't. If I got a talent base that Mount Everest, and they want to come back home.
I'm going to utilize it.
Man, you're making me look like the best coach that's ever lived. Because why? These kids want to be you.
Look what Nick Saban was doing year in, year out. He was losing 2-3 guys every year and replacing them with guys that were even better. Dudes that were falling off the scrap heap. Guys like Butch Jones from Tennessee. Like, man, he was... Yo.
One of the best.
This guy was just recycling
Because
toys.
he was not afraid to let guys that wanted to test the market, let them go. Because I'm going to bring in somebody that's going to do it my way, and my way is the right way.
And the personnel to back it
Okay.
on the field.
One of the best things that me and Nevin talk about, one of the biggest things that I agree with Nevin on, he always says it takes a village. And
That's
it
right.
does.
It does.
Really, it's so true. It takes a coaching staff, and like you always say, you can't be the smartest guy in the room. And that's where, from my perspective as a fan, I believe that Mario wants to be the smartest guy in the room. That's his perspective.
You can
on it.
ask these two guys because they played for arguably one of the, if not two, Howard Schnellenberger and Jimmy Johnson,
That's right.
the greatest coaches of all time. But if you ask them, and I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but they were both great. How great was the staff around them also?
Well,
You're only as good as your staff.
Right.
You're only as good. And Jimmy will tell you. See, people give Jimmy credit for being the defensive guru, but what did he do? He made guys like Gary Stevens, Mark Trestman, Hubbard Alexander, Joe Brodsky. He made those offensive guys. He allowed them to do their jobs.
Yeah. Dave Campo, Tony Wise.
You cannot
Right.
sit there and say, it's my way or get your ass up out of here. That's not how
You got to trust the
head-
dudes you hire, man.
you hire them.
Right.
Okay.
You're responsible,
you
man.
cannot say,
Right.
well, you did not doing it my way, but you hired him.
Here's my let me say this, like, and I we get our comments and everyone, oh, Shapiro's a fucking hater, and then all right, whatever. Listen, I love the program, man. Period. But bottom line, fuck what happened. That's a whole nother story for another time. But like, my whole thing was, this is a really big issue for me. And now I said this on our thing. Alonzo Highsmith was one of the, if not the most outspoken critics
Yep.
against me when that whole situation went on. Right. Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. And I eat that, acknowledge it, accept it. That's rightfully so. But I look at the guys, he is what the University of Miami is based on. He's the model. He's the model, man. He's the model. Not only is he the model from going back when, original pioneer, let's say, but he's an NFL personnel scout for 30-something years. Who the fuck has seen more fucking dudes come through the league, and on top of that, knows what the Miami guy looks like and should look like?
Mm-hmm.
How do you let him go? Like, how do you let him go? I'm not cool with that. I'd love an answer. You can't. How do you let that guy go? He was a GM in this game for us before they started naming GMs in college 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
But you let him walk? We were blessed to have that guy.
I used to always ask him, Alonzo, they don't let you talk to the kids? And he say, man, I just go to my office. They don't want me to say nothing to them. I said, how do you not? Like you said, somebody who's put in 30-plus years in the National Football League, somebody who's built, guys like him, literally built the University of Miami's program from the inception, okay? And you don't even allow him to say anything to the kids?
He's a walking database. Man, he's a walking database of what it takes.
How
to
is
be
he
a
not talking to the recruits before they even get to the U? Forget about when they're there. He should be involved in the recruiting process.
If I were to so many people, you see my DMs, right?
Yeah.
I don't even see my own DMs. right? You guys handle them, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to keep me away from myself, right?
Yeah.
If everyone's always asking, what's a question? Man, what would you do with the program? Man, the first thing I would do is hand him the keys and say, pick your fucking staff and anyone you see fit. You best believe he's going to get it right, especially in that place.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm just saying, but what do I know other than fucking everything?
Well, let's go into this. I know we've been going on. It's been great. But this is a big segment that we really wanted to do for this show. It was one of the focal points that I believed was going to be the banter of tonight. It's the 1986 and 2001 debate.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into that now. Many diehard Canes fans that watch both of the 86 and 01 teams believe that the 86 team would beat the 2001 team. Do you believe this to be true? If so, why?
Yo, Ben, you're awake over there? Or?
Not only because, see, people think it's personal because I played on that 86 team, but when you start something, when you build a house, you start with a foundation. Okay? All of us that were on that 86 team believed in a mansion before one brick was laid. I say that because myself, who was recruited to Miami because of my brother, Tolbert, who was recruited to Miami because of Melvin, a lot of guys in that locker room were recruited because why? We had nowhere else to go. We're a bunch of renegades from South Florida that wanted to put a program on the map. The reason I say that, because we had no care. If you watched what a lot of us said in that 30 for 30, we meant that. If we wasn't going to beat you on the field, we were going to go in the parking lot and whoop your ass. Because we ain't got nowhere. Where else we going to go? You got to remember, during that time, it was the Miami riots. See, you too young to remember all of that. So we couldn't go anywhere. You would, listen, I couldn't go to the Pokemon projects if I ain't no Tolbert Bain. Who is coming over here? Oh, I'm gonna come and see Tolbert or Brett. You had to know somebody. And this is what we all knew of each other, competing against one another. So when you take a group of guys like that, there's nothing to lose. That's the difference, in my opinion, between that 2001 team. Because remember, my brother was on that 2000 team. So I know the fabric behind a lot of those 2001 guys. You understand? Because they thought my brother was off the wall. Because he watched us. Okay? And so when the most dangerous guy in the world is what? A guy who has nothing to lose. That's the most dangerous guy in the world.
Such a great point, man.
Believe it. Believe it.
Talking about your brother, man.
believe it.
Such a
I
great
don't,
point, man.
and that's why I don't take anything away from the 2001 team. But think about it. In 1984, we lost 4 games. Jimmy Vile will never have that feeling again. In 85, we came back and lost 1 game that year against Florida. Came back in 86 and went undefeated and lost against Penn State. In 87, we came back and ran the table. We talking about a bunch of renegades, like I said, who, what? Man, I'd rather slap you in your mouth and walk out that door than for you to say we weren't the greatest of all time. Because when you have nothing and you come from nothing, what I asked you before we came up in here, would any one of those guys on that 01 team would have came to Miami? Because the reason I know the answer, because my brother said, oh, hell no. Y'all had small cages, meaning our locker room was smaller than these chairs we sitting in. So in order to build a program, you got to have people that trust and believed in a program. Everybody wants to come to a winner. That's the key to being successful. Don't take nothing away from any one of those guys. But it boils down to what I just said. The most dangerous guy in the room is a guy who has nothing to lose.
What's your take on it, Bain?
We matched up, both teams matched up well against the other team. I just think we had a little bit more of an edge. Like Bennie said, we didn't have nothing. They enjoyed the fruits of our labor. So think they were getting more money than we were getting. What we get, $30, $40 weekend money?
Mm-hmm.
That was your weekend money. And we rather to be the off season because we got more, I think, than we got during the season. Or it was opposite, I don't remember. But we had just a little bit of edge. But we matched up. You do the lineups versus each lineup, and we matched up.
What about you, Nev?
Here's my take. I grew up really idolizing these guys. Really, really idolizing these guys. And, you know, I got to keep it a buck. And that 2001 team, from a NFL career standpoint,
Right.
I think it's very, very hard for anybody to match up from what that team did once they got to the league in the history of collegiate sports. However, when you talk about facing an opponent, for example, Muhammad Ali was arguably, everyone says he's the greatest of all time. Okay, you know, that's arguable, and maybe he was. Styles make fights. He struggled hard with Joe Frazier. He won 2 of the 3, I think, 2 of the 3. But he struggled hard, and he almost died in one of those 3, right? That 86 team, eye test. Just a different breed, man. Just a different breed. The most ferocious fucking team of all time, man. Like, for real, killers. Real killers. And, you know, I can't say that 86 team's better than 2001 if you look at the history of what they did in the leagues, but I'm going to tell you something, man. That 86 team didn't take a fucking backseat to nobody.
That's the thing. That's why I say I take nothing away from that 2001 team, because man for man, who had better NFL careers than Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, who was on the bench? You understand? Bryant McKinney, Kevin Winslow. I mean, yeah. NFL-wise, those guys went on and had hell of a Hall of Fame careers. But we're basing it on what? Collegiate football. We're not talking about past that January 1 date.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that's the debate. I think there's nobody in American history can tell you that 2001 team has more Hall of Famers,
Yeah.
and it should be more.
Yeah, and you're talking about like
You know
look
what
at
I
the
mean?
running.
Right.
Look at the honestly look at the running back room. So you got Frank Gore, McGahee, and
Clint
Portis.
Clint
Listen to me,
Portis.
you got 36,000
That's right.
yards, NFL yards, man.
Right.
36,000. So when I hear these LSU 2019 comparisons against Miami 2001, let me give you the breakdown on the backfield. Okay, 36,000 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 2,000 yards. Right, 36,000 to 2,000, and I'm not even talking about Najee Davenport, Jason Geathers, who was fucking nasty. I mean, you can go on and on.
Right.
These dudes couldn't get off the bench.
Yep.
Yo, Portis walks in the locker room. Yo, which one of you guys is cleaning up for me? Frank Gore's the second leading rusher of all time. What? In the NFL, not in the University of Miami. So so we're not getting into the LSU 2019, man. How's Joe Burrow going to throw from his ass? From Blaine upside down. What?
Then
Man, don't get me
you
started,
take
man.
The '86 team, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first team ever to have 3 in the top. What, 8 or 9?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bennie,
First ever
Bennie,
happened.
Alonzo, and
And
Jerome.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That in itself was unmatched, and they went on to have 6 in one round in the first round, another 6. And they did what they were supposed to do, but the stage was set. Because we had when we came out with Bennie, we had 15 drafted, and so all that was done before they started doing it. It's just they wasn't taking. They didn't view Miami as they did when them guys started playing. So they took more
Right.
guys in the first round.
Right. That makes sense too, man. Yeah.
They took more.
Yeah.
Back
Here-
then they wasn't gonna
Right.
do that.
Here's what I always tell the young kids. Now, South Florida nowadays is what? A hotbed for talent. Every school in not just the United States, in the world is coming to what? South Florida is a hotbed for talent. In the early 80s, you might have had 4 schools coming to South Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. We were the blueprint.
You know what I'm saying? So
Your backyard.
So what is that telling you? People now coming here to pick from the fruits of the early labor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these kids are getting better chances to make better living for themselves because don't ever think, like I always tell people, I myself personally, gonna always give respect to the younger generation. But I'm never gonna ever be disrespected for what we have accomplished before you. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people say, man, y'all old asses. Remember, 40 years from now, you're gonna be that old ass.
Yeah.
And one of them young people, you ain't did shit. Old man, sit down somewhere.
Listen, that University of Miami, 85, 86, 80, we won a title in 89, but that 85, 86, 87, 88, that 4-year run,
Okay.
it's as bad as it gets, man. Like the Miami 2000, 2001, 2002, hell on wheels, no question. But that 85 to 88 ride, that built the U. That was the U, even though we won in 83. But that 85 to 88, yo, that built the U. We could have easily had 4 titles. Bennie choked off Tennessee. Bennie choked off Penn State. We won in 87, and the refs jacked us on Cleveland Gary's fumble. That's a 4-peat, man.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do one more question about 86, and then we're gonna wrap up with a couple of your questions. But one of the things I wanted to chat with you guys about is that coin toss that is the most famous coin toss in college football history against Oklahoma. Did you guys have any insight to that was going to go down on live television?
Nope.
Those are his roommates. Okay? I tell people, if you look at the guys that he sent out there, Jerome Brown, Winston Moss arguably is probably the most humble, mild-mannered person you're ever gonna meet.
Until he put that uniform.
When he put that uniform on and he stepped between them lines, that's the Hulk he probably whooped the Hawks' ass. Because Winston Moss was just as violent as they come. And that's why
Shit inside him.
you see that corn toss, I ain't gonna shake your hand. No, I ain't got nothing to say. Ain't nothing to say.
We're the
Because
boss. We're the boss.
He let all
Scared
his talking was on the field.
Don't get scared now, bitch.
Yep.
And they did it right. They knew, Jimmy knew he was sitting up for that corn toss.
He sent out some real dudes.
By the way, the fans felt the same way.
Yeah.
No, the fans felt the same way, man. That was our house, man.
Because let me tell you something. I think even if Bosworth would have tried to fight the fans, they would have whooped his ass that day. Because when they start saying bye-bye Bosworth,
We hate to see you go.
That Orange Bowl was violent, man. Like that place was.
it really was.
I mean, that place was just really a different venue, man.
When they used to hit that smoke, man, coming out.
Nothing like it.
Man, just body blocking old people in the stands, man. We didn't give a fuck, man. It was.
So I got a couple questions these are Nevin's questions that he wrote down a couple for you guys. This is one that's intriguing to me. What do you think your NIL evaluation would be today if you were coming out of high school? Both of you guys.
Well, coming out, I wouldn't have got no money, but I was a starter as a redshirt freshman, so I'd have got a few dollars, and every year I started after that, so it kept going up, I think.
I had you, Bain. Don't worry, dog. I had you, kid.
I ain't gonna lie, Nevin had to pull that bag out there. What? Look, let me give you my history now. They wanted me because of Brian. I was a 2-time state champion. Got invited to the 84 Olympic trials. The only reason I didn't stay because we had to go report to the University of Miami.
Football.
Nah, I said, I'm a football player just having to run track. So when Jimmy sent that letter, I got to go to the University of Miami. So look, I was going to get some of that Olympic money, Nevin, and I was going to get some of that football money. That bag would have had it, look.
Been heavy.
It's going to be real heavy.
So let me ask this that was good. Which individual player would be the biggest problem for that 2001 team, offense or defense, in your guys' era?
Dre.
Yeah.
Big and fast, physical, and he played with a passion also. He was like Bennie said with Winston.
Yeah.
Quiet, but when he stepped between them lines, he turned into a cold gorilla.
And that's what you admired about him. But I think they wouldn't have had the time to throw the ball.
So who would be your player?
Of course. I'm trying to see from that 86 team because we had one of the coldest defensive line. And people talk about trendsetters. Reggie White's speech says, if there's no Jerome Brown, there's no Reggie White. And people consider Reggie White in the Philadelphia area one of the greatest football players who ever played in Philadelphia. We had the luxury of watching this big, gentle giant from Hernando County, Brooksville, Florida. And when he said something to you, amen, amen, amen. Real gentle giant.
You better get to doing what he said.
Okay, because I promise you, the violence that he played the game with, we just, as a second, I sat there and watched the boy. He took the center with his right hand and snatched him all the way to the left side of the guard. I say, man, when you ain't got to worry about the run, you can get interceptions.
They set it up. They set it up for you guys, yeah.
Love
Made you
Jerome.
guys look.
Just the violence that Jerome Brown
Yeah.
made the game.
Would have been hard for Romberg or any of
Oh.
those guys on the line to block him. Yeah, it would have been brutal.
Romberg would have had a problem with Dan Cilio, and Dan Cilio was half the man Jerome Brown was, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I'm leaving. That debate will go on for the next 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all gonna be dead in our grave.
But the
And-
matchup was a nice.
You know what I mean?
matchup On both teams.
If you, like they always say, the tale of the tape, you can match up both sides. It was going to be a hotly contested game. Take away that, I'm going to say it again, take away that 2001 Hall of Fame NFL careers, and we just playing one game, NCAA. Okay?
Yeah. And we might have just had someone from the 2001 football team just walk in.
It's okay. I see him
no,
over there.
I'm not gonna name any names, but we're not gonna.
I ain't never scared what I told you before he walked in. I'm always give them guys their props. But listen, I ain't never scared now.
For real, there is just too much history and greatness behind this program. Just too much greatness to go into a wasteland. And that's just the truth. And you take away my situation, we know it's an elephant in the room and this and that whole bullshit that went on, right? Which is its own story. But man, like, there's just too much greatness, man. In the history of the game, some of the greatest players to ever play the game of football came through that facility.
Yep.
I'm going to wrap it up with this question because we've been going a long time and we appreciate you guys staying on this long. But this is one that Nevin wrote, and we were both laughing in the car when I was writing this question. Is there any defensive player from your era that would not get ejected for targeting in today's game?
You don't got to answer that, man. We already know.
I was laughing.
Everybody that played the game before 2008 would be ejected in today's game because not only do I coach youth league football, I referee youth league football, I referee high school football, and now I've gotten into refereeing college football. And when they turn and look at me and say, "You ain't gonna call that? Stop being a bitch." I know as a referee you're not supposed to tell the kids that, but listen. It ain't no way I'm gonna throw a flag on a kid who's already started his motion to hit you in your chest. What did he say? I'm supposed to hit you in a targeted area. And you lower your center of gravity, and they get me for targeting. You will never see me doing a college playoff game. You will never see me doing in it because I ain't gonna never make the grade because I ain't gonna make that call. Just certain things. I'm still old school because let the kids play the game. All them ones that still got their mama titties in their mouth, go back home. It's still, you in an arena. It's a gladiator sport. People forget that. This is a gladiator sport. You can't tell boxers, you hit me too hard, Mike Tyson gonna look at you and say, "Well, get your ass out the ring then." How do you tell football players, I got to slap you on the ankle for you to fall? This is why when I watch even NFL football, if, let's say I'm William Joseph and I fall on the ground, you know I got to establish myself again before I can get up and hit the quarterback. Where that rule came in at. That is the new rule. He must establish himself as a defender before he can hit the quarterback. That's why they can't hit the quarterbacks below the knees, because if he's laying on the ground, he got to get up and establish himself again. What are we coming to? I get it. Fans make the game what it is today. And because we have a lot more women that are watching football, women like what? Fancy boys, pretty boys. Don't hit my baby too hard. Just sitting here right now, I'm looking at your jugular vein, and I just feel like slapping you. And that means, because if you hit the jugular vein, what happens? The whole head got to go where the jugular vein go. It's called a brachial artery. Nah. We don't teach that anymore. Because why? You can't. Got to take out the violence from the sport. How do you play a violent sport, but you can't be violent?
That's why I don't watch hardly any NFL games. College is still college, and I love it, but
Because why? College kids are wanting to get to the NFL.
yeah,
That's why there's still
different hunger.
a little bit of hungerness in it.
Yeah.
Think about all the guys who've now they finally made it.
Yeah.
I just watched one kid today,
Easy
and
street.
I hope he does get his money. Now, back when I was a safety in the league, and I showed people my contracts. Now, for $85,000, Nevin, I was gonna slap your whole family. This boy as a safety getting ready to make $19 million per year for 5 years. Close to $100 million. And I just look and I say, and y'all can't hit nobody?
It's crazy, man.
They happy with just hitting him with the shoulder. Well, coach, I thought he was gonna fall. What the fuck? And his coaches don't say nothing, because why? He's making $19 million. Coaches ain't making but $400,000. What am I gonna say something to him for? I need my job. That's why guys like me ain't in the locker rooms. They're gonna say, oh no, Bennie. Man, fuck him.
Yeah.
It's money. Are you playing the game for the money? Are you playing the game for every last one of those 80 to 82,000 people that show up in Hard Rock Stadium every week to see what? The Miami Dolphins win, right? You know what they're showing up for? If me, I want to see all the gruesomeness of the violence.
Yeah, man.
They don't want to see that because they want to see Tua play. Don't hit Tua too hard.
All right, so our producer has a final question for the show, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Andy here. So I got two questions. First one is it surreal to be having a podcast with Nevin Shapiro? And does the Miami fan base give Nevin Shapiro a fair shake?
I actually don't know, because I think about people and I view them on how I see them and how I deal with them, how they deal with me. So I could care less what people feel or think. Me, Nevin, Nevin knows what he is. Hey, man, everybody had their fucking hand out, so everybody was taking. So I don't know what actually happened, because I don't keep up with none of that. I don't even know what's going on in local news, because ain't nothing on the news good. But somebody got killed, somebody got shot, kid got shot. I don't keep up with none of the current events no more. I just live and enjoy my life.
I'm pretty much like Tolbert. I live life for today. And to me, I don't judge a man on his past, because I tell people all the time, boy, if you judge me on mine, whoa. You know what I mean? Bro, it is what it is. We all got them skeletons in the closet, And so, as long as he's up front and he's all right with me, I don't care. I mean, I know I'm going to get a lot of fans say, oh, I can't believe you. Listen, I done hung out with people that have done worse, okay? And I've done some things that I wish I could take back. Life is a learning lesson. And so for people who've never lived life, then they've done just that. They haven't lived. They're so busy worried about what other people are doing. I tell people, live your life, because I'm going to live mine. He's now into my stratosphere. He's into my world. As long as he treat me good, I'm good. You know what I mean? So whoever told whoever he gave to, because I got to tell people, the people that gave me, back when I was at the University of Miami, I'm taking that to my grave, baby, it's all good. Because you gave that to me. You ain't gave that to nobody else. That's why I have yet to understand why I tell the young kids, don't throw the rock and hide your hands. Don't do that. Because you know you was in that room when everything was good, and all of a sudden, you want to be. I don't like telltale bitches.
So last question I have. What would you say to the fan base that still blames the university's downfalls and not being able to rebound because of Nevin?
How do you blame one man for a downfall of a program?
We had a bunch of bad coaches in position. How the hell Nevin took the program down? Bad coaching.
I listen, I see the
and just
comments
like we
all the
said
time.
earlier-
I run his social media and I see the comments all the time, and people are still blaming the University of Miami's downfall because of him.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say again, bad coaching. I don't tell me about Nevin took no program down, because ain't no one person took this program down. Program went backwards when we stopped developing these players. But just like they said earlier, they still getting to the league
Yep.
and turning to all pros and everything. So it's bigger than just whatever happened with Nevin. I'm gonna tell you again, I don't know what happened. I wasn't privy of all that stuff. But I know we had a bunch of bad coaching going on. And we ain't out the water yet any damn way with that.
So let me ask a question. You guys wish I was around in your day?
Dad, look here, my son would have been wearing Gucci. he would have been wearing Gap, baby. That's for sure.
We going to Sizzler, man.
Go to Sizzler. We'll go to Sizzler.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Everybody's looking to blame somebody, anybody, for the downfall of the University of Miami program. Before Nevin came along, it was Butch Davis, okay? Then it wasn't Butch. Then it was Al Golden.
Yeah, but if Al, remember Al just wouldn't get rid of his homeboy.
Yeah,
Just
Mark
removed
D'Onofrio.
him.
But like I
He didn't
said,
have to get
Tolbert,
rid of him.
everybody looking for somebody to blame. Now, we as former players, what did I say earlier? That I'm not looking to blame the players. We, as alumni, we as coaches, we as boosters, we as whoever gave somebody $6 million, $200,000, $4 million, if you gave them that money and they ain't showing up to the program and produce for that money, who fault that is?
Well, we gave him the money. Mentality
No.
different than theirs.
But see, then that's the thing. Mentality. Told, if a man hungry, a man gonna do whatever he got to do to eat.
Right.
If you ain't hungry, bro, see, a lot of these kids ain't grow up with a wish sandwich. You know what a wish sandwich is, young man?
It's like bread and nothing else.
You wish you had some meat to put in your bread.
Yeah, it's like bread and nothing else.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, you ain't grew up like us. Boy, I a whole lot of nights I wish mom and daddy made some money to put some bologna or something in between his bread.
See, I understand, Benny. You know why?
You know what I mean?
I was in the shoe for 6 months.
See,
I get that.
listen.
I get that, man.
We like I'm gonna keep saying. Here's what I know: the University of Miami is gonna truly be back when we the most hated team in all of college football. That's what it was back in those days. You didn't just dislike the University of Miami. You hated the mama, you hated the grandma, because you hated everything about anybody that played on that University of Miami team.
Despised us.
When they make another 30 for 30, they're back. Uh-oh. Now, if we get there, I hope I'm still around. But until we change the mindset of the kid
Yep.
that we're recruiting.
I just said it. You said they gave you that money, you tearing shit up. They don't feel like that. I made it. I got some money now. They get off the gas. We was gonna stay on that gas. The 01 team was gonna stay on that gas.
I don't know how far people think.
What they say Nick say he got out for? Because of that money.
He couldn't
said they
control
don't
them when they
love-
get that money.
No, he said they don't love the game.
That's
no
right.
more. All us love the game.
Because kids will tell you nowadays, Mr. Blaze, I gotta get my likes up. What about loving the game? You ain't got to never like me.
Well, I don't care about life. That's why I post some every blue moon on my Instagram.
That's why I stay off of social media.
about
Because
that, man.
a like, pay my mortgages, then I'm going to love you. You ain't got to never like me. What? Like me? Who came up with this like stuff anyway?
The people who get in the 5-star.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I need to go talk to what Donald Trump man named Elon. I need to go talk to Elon. Cause I need to Cause man, get my likes up. You know what I mean? Cause if I get my likes up, that means I get residuals. How that thing work? Y'all let me know how that thing work.
You get some off likes.
See,
Comments.
that mean we gotta put. You got every now and then you gotta put some stupid stuff on
Likes-
Facebook
likes don't get you
and all
paid.
of that.
No.
You know, and so
say
people
engagement?
follow what you
Engagement.
Yeah,
The followers don't even get you paid.
Commenting, people watching your clip for a certain
How
amount
long
of
they're
time,
staying
and-
on,
and that
engagement.
the algorithm will
I ain't got
spit it
that
out.
kind of time doing the day
Spit it out.
shit every day. No.
Well, you got to engage them in the first 3 seconds. So
Well,
you got 3 seconds.
Hold up, that's why. What's the little basketball girl?
Kavinder?
There you go, them Cavalier twins.
Yeah, but that's Beck's
That's
girlfriend.
one of them good boy girls.
Hey man, I wasn't gonna. Hey,
chasing his pussy,
Hey,
man.
man.
Y'all,
But
I don't trust no dude following their pussy around. I don't trust none of them.
I'm telling you right now, no disrespect to those girls. They couldn't have gotten on the yacht. I'm just saying. Man.
Well, guys, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on. This was great. I really appreciate it. I know it was long, but it was so good. This might break the internet. But
it's okay, young school. Okay, you know what I mean. For us old guys,
yeah,
I appreciate it.
absolutely.
Appreciate it.
man.
Just-
Now,
just
you guys are
listen to us.
legends, man. You're Ring of Honor. You're legends, man, for sure, 100%. And thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Our new channel, Beyond the U305, is just up now. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.